This is what I will call the feel-good preseason game. Like, KK, go drop 20. Caitlin, just shoot exclusively 35 footers 5 seconds into the shot clock. You're playing against the Liberty, and I don't have a clue who the other preseason game is against, but they matter to an extent. They'll matter. Like, again, the Liberty don't really care, but like for new players in, just getting them used to playing with each other, like to an extent, they matter.
The Indiana Fever have added another preseason game to the schedule, and this time the opponent is the Nigeria women's national team. Right off the bat, Nigeria is a significantly stronger side than the Brazil squad Indiana faced last year. The catch, as always with national team matchups, is roster availability. There are several players on the Nigerian team who will be competing for WNBA spots this season, and if those players are not available for this game, the level of competition drops noticeably. Brazil without Damiris Dantas and Clarissa dos Santos was a completely different team, barely recognizable, honestly.
Players in, just getting them used to playing with each other, like to an extent, they matter. As in, like, the result doesn't matter. It's just what transferable things. Can you run some of your sets? Can you run basic stuff without giving away too much? This is literally just a shoot-off. This game does not matter in any way. And these are going to be the feel-good preseason games. The annoying thing is that currently I don't know what my internet situation is going to be, so I'm in the middle of nowhere.
And even with those two in the lineup, Brazil is not exactly an elite program, so the quality of this Nigeria side will depend heavily on who actually shows up. That said, preseason games like this one need to be understood for what they are. This is a feel-good exhibition. This is the kind of game where Caitlin Clark can pull up from 35 feet 5 seconds into the shot clock without a single person blinking.
Situation is going to be, so I'm in the middle of nowhere in France with no Wi-Fi. I'm in the middle of nowhere in France for my cousin's wedding, with no Wi-Fi. I think I need to just get my thing right here. So calendar. I need to make 100% sure of that, but I think that I won't be live for that game. I'll be live for all the others, and I will be at another wedding for the first regular season game, but I'll be able to...
The Liberty game carries a little more weight, and the other announced matchup has some relevance too, but only to a point, and really only in the sense that new players get reps, combinations get tested, and teams start building chemistry together. The final score is irrelevant. What matters is whether Indiana can run some of their sets, move through basic actions without overexposing the playbook, and give the roster time to develop a feel for one another. That last point actually matters more than usual. Heading into 2026, this Fever team could look quite different from last season's group.
Season game, but I'll be able to... the time of it's okay. That being said, when is this game? I just realized, what time is this game at? 7 p.m. Eastern time, freaking 1 a.m. where I'm at. No chance I'll be live, but we'll still make a breakdown of it. And if you guys are new to the channel, subscribe. We are trying to get to 57,800 by the end of the day. 15 more subscribers. Thank you guys for all the support on the channel recently. But I don't mind this because, again,
there is a lot of movement happening across the league right now, and the salary situation is creating some complicated decisions for veterans. Reports are split. Some insiders expect players to chase short-term deals, while others are comparing this offseason to the 2016 cap spike, where veterans locked in long-term money instead of gambling on a better deal later. The logic is straightforward. If this is the highest earning window of a player's career, taking guaranteed long-term money starts to make more sense than leaving hundreds of thousands on the table chasing a championship on a discounted deal. Kelsey Mitchell is essentially locked in given how signing and trade rules work. Once she signs, she stays. But beyond Mitchell, the picture gets murkier.
But I don't mind this because, again, there are a lot of situations where... Oh, no. Sorry. Jesus. I'm definitely not going to be live. I thought it was the day after my cousin's wedding. No, it's my cousin's wedding. I will not be live for this game. I will probably be up from midnight to 2 a.m. and I'll probably be doing a breakdown video, drunk, potentially. But yeah, I'll keep an eye on this game anyway. Yeah, there's no way I'll be live for this one. But
a player like Natasha Howard, for example, faces a real decision. She could stay in Indiana for a slightly above-average contract, compete for a title, and potentially boost her market value heading into the following season, or she could chase marginally more money elsewhere and lose out on the championship opportunity. For veterans at that stage of their careers, a ring can open doors that no salary bump from a mid-tier team ever would. All of this makes preseason minutes more valuable than the matchup might suggest on paper. These rosters are going to need time to gel, and every practice rep, every game situation, even against a national team missing its top players, contributes to that process.
But yeah, I'll keep an eye on this game anyway. Yeah, there's no way I'll be live for this one. But yeah, look, I think it's an interesting one here. I do like the pretty much I do like the fact that the Fever are playing with these games. I enjoyed the Brazil game last year. The Toyota Antelopes games were interesting, I felt, last year to an extent because, again, a couple of those games the Toyota Antelopes hooped. I have to admit, the Toyota Antelopes for a couple of games actually went and hooped last year. So, yeah.
The best case scenario for Indiana is that the final preseason game gives Caitlin Clark a chance to shake off the rust in a low-pressure setting, get her rhythm going from deep, and head into the regular season feeling sharp. For fans in Indianapolis, this Nigeria game represents one of the more affordable ways to watch the Fever play at Gainbridge Fieldhouse in 2026. With ticket prices expected to climb this season, a preseason game against an international opponent is likely to have secondary market prices drop significantly by game day. Families looking to bring kids to see Caitlin Clark in person without paying peak regular season prices could find this game to be the ideal entry point. As for the game itself, Indiana wins by 30 to 40 points, minimum.
Games actually went and hooped last year. So, yeah, it was a kind of fun one. And I don't mind, again, I don't mind a preseason game that doesn't mean anything. What you want is you want to get reps and you want to be in situations where you're playing together, and the more these teams and players play together, the better it's going to be for the Fever. Because I expect relatively new teams. And apparently there's some insiders have said,
Nigeria without its WNBA level talent is not going to keep it close. Caitlin Clark will play limited minutes, and in those limited minutes, she will almost certainly try to make every second count. Expect long-range attempts, creative plays, and the kind of loose, confident basketball that only comes when the stakes are low and the mood is right. It will not be a serious contest, but it will be an entertaining one. The Indiana Fever front office has made its intentions clear, heading into what shapes up to be one of the more consequential off-seasons in franchise history.
And apparently there's some insiders have said, players are going to sign, short-term deals. And then other insiders have said it's actually going to be the opposite. It's like the 2016 cap spike where no one's signing a short-term deal. Everyone knows that because of the way things are, there's a very good chance that it's the most money they're ever going to make in their career, and they can get it long-term because, again, there are going to be people that are signing these short-term deals. That it's basically going to be a case of, do you want to sign a long-term for money or do you want to sign short-term for a ring?
With the expansion draft set for April 3rd and free agency opening immediately after, the urgency is real. A large portion of the current roster is hitting the market, and locking in the right pieces before other teams move will determine how competitive Indiana looks when the season tips off. The Fever enter this period in a relatively strong position for the expansion draft. With Toronto and Portland both needing to stock their rosters, Indiana should be able to shield its core group Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, Caitlin Clark, and Lexi Hull from being selected.
Player unions announced they agreed to a new collective bargaining agreement on the 18th, which we know that as well. Now, something that we don't know is who the Indiana Fever is going to target as they get ready for free agency. Now, with that being said, we know there is a host of WNBA stars that is ready to play and pretty much ready to go. And I'm telling you right now, the Indiana Fever is probably going to be one of the hottest destinations for these young ladies coming. It is going to be very interesting to see.
Under the new CBA, that same maximum designation now carries a $1.4 million price tag, a dramatically different financial conversation. Still, Mitchell is the priority, and the expectation is that Indiana moves quickly to retain her. Sophie Cunningham's status draws plenty of attention as well. An unrestricted free agent heading into 2026, Cunningham arrived via trade from Phoenix and slotted in smoothly as a starting wing.
It is going to be very interesting to see what the Fever do to get this season up and going. The article goes on to say Indiana is also in a good position when it comes to the expansion draft for the Toronto Tempo and Portland Fire. While it is unknown how many players exiting teams will be able to protect, the Fever will likely be able to protect the three main core, being Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, Caitlin Clark, and Lexi Hall. So how would the Fever build around its core as Stephanie White goes?
She contributed 8 points and 3.5 rebounds per game while taking on the physical, edge-setting role the team needed. The bigger issue was availability. A torn MCL cut her first season in Indiana short and left questions about how she returns from that setback. Hull, drafted 6th overall by Indiana in 2022, is finishing out her rookie-scale contract and has signaled a desire to stay. The mutual interest appears genuine on both sides, which simplifies at least one of the roster decisions the front office needs to make.
So how would the Fever build around its core as Stephanie White goes into year 2? Let's take a look. Retaining outgoing free agents, Mitchell will be priority number 1. So it looked like they telling her Kelsey Mitchell was still going to be top priority, right? Indiana Fever signed and core Kelsey Mitchell last season, paid her the max salary, which at the time was $250,000. This year, it's $1.4 million. There's a big difference. Now, in the current state of everything, everybody want to know what's going on with Sophie Cunningham. Sophie Cunningham, who was an unrestricted.
Once the returning pieces are sorted, attention shifts to filling the gaps, and the biggest one is at the 4. Indiana is looking for a power forward who can function as a rim runner, while also stretching the floor enough to be a legitimate three-point threat. Defensively, that player needs to hold up on the interior. Stephanie White's track record reinforces this priority. Her Connecticut teams ranked 2nd and 1st in defensive efficiency in 2023 and 2024, with her 2025 squad finishing 7th.
Everybody want to know what's going on with Sophie Cunningham. Sophie Cunningham, who was an unrestricted free agent in 2026, was an immediate fit in the Indiana Fever when she was traded from Phoenix at 25. Now, Sophie Cunningham did average 8 points, 3.5 rebounds as a starter wing for the Fever, while also filling a role as the team's quote-unquote enforcer. But her first year in Indiana was hammered with injuries. She tore her MCL, which we all know went down grueling. Somebody else that we have to talk about, Lexi Hall.
Defense is not an afterthought under her system. Gabby Williams fits the profile Indiana is chasing. The Seattle Storm forward turned heads internationally during the Olympics representing France, where she gave Team USA genuine trouble and introduced herself to a much wider audience. She averaged 11 points per game and earned first-team All-Defensive honors along with third-team Defensive Player of the Year recognition in 2025 voting.
All know went down grueling. Somebody else that we have to talk about, Lexi Hall, who just finished her rookie contract after Indiana drafted her number 6 in 2022, has expressed interest in returning. Lexi Hall don't want to go nowhere else. She want to stay in Indy. Now, finding others to fit this right here, this next portion, this is where the hot sauce at. This is where it's finna get spicy at. This is what we want to know. Assuming Indiana can retain its key players in free agency, the Fever will likely need a power forward to fill out.
Williams is a free agent, and her combination of athleticism and defensive impact makes her one of the most appealing names on the market. Whether Indiana can actually land her financially is a separate question. She will command serious interest and likely a near maximum offer from multiple teams. Another name worth watching is Azura Stevens, a 6'6" forward center with 8 years of WNBA experience across Dallas, Chicago, and Los Angeles. Stevens brings veteran steadiness and has shown comfort alongside another big, averaging 12 points and 8 rebounds, while sharing the front court with Dearica Hamby in Los Angeles.
Indiana can retain its key players in free agency, the Fever will likely need a power forward to fill out their starting lineup. And ideally, Indiana will be looking for a rim runner, that could also hit three-pointers at a high enough rate to be a threat beyond their. White's teams have historically been strong defensively as well. Her Connecticut teams in 23 and 24 ranked 2nd and 1st in the league in defensive ratings, respectfully, while her 2025 team was 7th. Now,
her three-point shooting is a bonus. She attempted 4.3 attempts per game at a 38% clip in 2025, which adds a floor spacing element to her interior game. There is also the possibility of a familiar face returning. Temi Fagbenle already knows the Fever's system and has a built-in familiarity with how Clark operates on the court. The adjustment period would be shorter than it would be for any newcomer, even accounting for the coaching change from Christy Sides to Stephanie White.
25 team was 7th. Now, Gabby Williams, who played for the Seattle Storm under the core destination 25, will be a great fit for the Fever, right? She's the type of player Indiana's looking for. Williams. Now, we all remember Gabrielle Williams during the Olympics playing for France. She went off. You know what I'm saying? She definitely gave Team USA a run for their money. She became an overnight superstar. She is a free agent. Damn near every superstar is a free agent, bruh. Williams is a...
On the expansion draft structure itself, April 3rd brings a coin toss between Portland and Toronto to determine draft order. The winner selects either the first overall pick in the expansion draft or the 6th overall pick in the WNBA draft. The losing franchise takes 7th overall in the WNBA draft. The expansion draft itself runs as a 2-round snake format, with all 13 existing teams protecting 5 players each before the new clubs make their selections.
She is a free agent. Damn near every superstar is a free agent, bruh. Williams is a quick forward who can run the court, averaging 11 points per game, and a vigorous defender. She was first-team All-American defense and third-team Defensive Player of the Year in 2025 voting, bro. They both likely to command their max salary. I don't know if Gabby Williams could get a max, man. I'm going to just be honest. Another option lies in Azuri Stevens, 6'6" power forward center. She has played in Dallas, Chicago, and Los Angeles over 8 years.